Good evening, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Center of Calmness. And I think my opening statement actually was muted out, so this will be a little bit different show today. But today we are super blessed today to have Chrissy Tasker with us. Welcome, Chrissy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me today. Thank you, DK. I look forward for today's interview. Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks so much for joining us. Now, you've been doing a lot of work lately with authors, bringing them together in collaboration, as well as helping with some very impactful book launches. Is that right?
Yes, it's quite exciting. I work with different group of authors from international, from different part of the world. So it's quite exciting because I brought everyone together and co-create, the dreams they have been like waiting for them. Most of them wanted to write a book all the time, but it never happened because to write even a 20,000 words book is quite difficult actually. So I brought together people who have this desire to publish book, and each of them, they write about between 2,000 to 3,000 words book, and we put them together, and it's really exciting. And each of, now the bond that we have together is amazing, and we have each other back, and we help each other, we learn from each other. I mean, it's just crazy, it's just lovely. And the book is doing very well too. We're going up, we are like being featured on different magazines and on different podcasts on some of the books that we have written. So I'm really glad I embarked this journey with all these authors together. Right now, it's really cool.
Yeah, I've seen some evidence on Amazon. At least one of those books has reached a serious bestseller status. I think it's sitting right next to Oprah's book, right? It's very exciting.
So we have, most of the time, our books on day one, we actually reach #1 bestseller. So you just see that how much support we have from, friends, and, but it's also partly the group of authors that really earnestly come together to market the book at the same time. So instead of you alone, try so hard to market your book, we have like 18 to 20 of us, put together the strength and do it together. So it's nice. It's really great to have a synergy like this.
Absolutely, yeah, quite a concept, right? To combine audiences of not just one or two, but 15 or 20 or even more, and then all of the as well, all the better connected folks that you're reaching out to help support
right forward. The quickest way to become an author. Yeah. But it also gives you a lot of confidence. Usually after a collaborations, right, of this nature, it gives you a lot of confidence to embark on the journey to do your own book at the same time. So it's really a great journey.
Right. And if I might ask, what is the subject that you either have released or about to release a book at this time, right? What is the topic that you wrote about?
Okay, so I'm just have a book that is coming out soon, and I have my mentor Brian Tracy to write the foreword for me as well. The title of the book is called Stillness in My Soul. It's about a movement to simplify your life. So I'm not an expert in this, but the book is about my journey of how I simplified my life from moving from Singapore to England, how I literally strip everything off and start from the beginning again. And yeah, this book meant a lot to me. That's why my mentor, he willing to write the foreword for me in the end. Yeah.
That is outstanding. And I wonder if you could just take us through some brief points of that story. How did you get from there to here, and then how did that experience inform these new systems that you're developing to help authors and all the other things you're doing these days?
Yeah. So you see, moving from Singapore, which is a city, certainly it's so different. I did not know. I mean, we used to come back because my husband is English, so we used to come back to England for holiday. But being a tourist and staying here is a total different system.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. In Singapore, literally, even in midnight, if you feel like, oh, I'm peckish, I wanted to go out to have supper, you can literally just drive like less than 10-15 minutes, and you reach a food place and you can have, everything. But over here, everything shut at 4 p.m.
Oh,
So it's like, wow, what's going on? What do we do as a family? So
yeah.
it's totally different system from very, very busy in Singapore, get so distracted all the time, to a life that you literally have to kind of like entertain yourself. You really have to make things, happen, and it's just a total different system. And at the same time in Singapore, we used to work like 11 hours a day.
Okay. That was
Yeah, so
normal.
I know it's crazy. And even
Wow.
the children as well. My kids will leave the house at 6:30 in the morning, and they will be home like, because it's a whole day school system, and they'll be home like maybe 5:30, 5:30 in the evening. And then what they do is probably they have dinner and things like that. And they, in 1-2 hours time, they have to leave the house for tuitions. And on the weekend is the same thing as well. Beside the 2-3 hours of homework they have to do, they have to catch up with other works, go for tuitions on the weekend.
Mm.
So such a unhealthy system. And moreover, the kids are so stressed out with the work as well, because it's very academic. So they really focus on, getting good results and getting good results. So my kids are not happy in Singapore when it comes to the education system. That's why we decide to move back to UK to really have a more holistic schooling system for them. So we are quite glad we make that move, actually, because now the kids have very balanced life. They're doing a lot of sports. So like, in fact, 2-3 times a day, a week, they are doing sports as well. So it's a more balanced life compared to what we were before. And like the crazy time that we're working 11 hours, now we strip back, at least we're focused on family. We focus on something that we want to do instead of something we have to do. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And if it's 11 hours a day plus, that's almost like a if I could call it a rat race, right? You're always running,
Well,
running, running, just
yeah,
barely enough time
I
to
used to
recover
see
before
my
the
I
next
used
day.
to see my staff go for holiday. I said, there must be something wrong. We are
Yeah,
working. They are, they have leave and they would just go for holiday. I said, that is so wrong. There must be something we did wrong. That why are we still running like this so hard? And so that is why we have to make the big decisions to move, so that, because if we are still there, we will do what the people do there, and then we will continue to chase after what we don't even know what we're chasing for, but we'll continue to chase after the invisible thing that we're chasing, and we be like what you say, the rat race, and it will never be stopped.
so how did you find those first few weeks and months as you completed a move to the UK? Of course, the initial move is probably very similar, highly intense, and a lot of hours to just actually get the family moved and like kind of installed right into a new home and get everything set up. But once you reach that point where you found the freedom, right, of being able to choose a little bit slower pace, different work schedule, easier time for your children. How did everyone react to that?
But beginning when we moved here, we actually did not intend to stay. We came during the kids' holiday, which is a December. In Singapore, we have a full month of December holiday. We came with just 4 luggage. These 4 luggages, we thought we were just staying for the holiday. But in the end, we decided to just stay. And we enroll the kids into the school. We say we just try them out. If it doesn't work, the most we go back to Singapore. And we enroll them into the school system here with that 4 luggage and an empty house. But it's such a relief. And we did not realize that over the year we have accumulated so much clutter in all our life, be it physical clutter, emotional clutter. When we move into the empty house with the 4 luggage, we felt it's such a brief, like, wow, we can live with that. And I'm like, to me, that is really my ultimate goal, to live with minimum. Because then you strip off your distractions and focus on what is really important. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That sounds, yeah.
That
I'm
is
thinking,
ideal, but
I'm thinking, yeah. Now I have an idea coming into my mind. What if I did that? Right? I've got, I've got pretty much everything I need to broadcast here on this standing desk, right? And I can pack all this into 4 suitcases easily and make a move like that. That sounds pretty attractive, actually.
because after we moved to UK, so I settled my kids into school and things like that. So they were here, and I actually flew back to Singapore. and start selling the assets over there. So I sold the house, and of course I have another, but I sold the house. And in the midst, because it's a big house and we moved to an apartment because my eldest son is still there, I have to give away so many things from the house and I give it to the charity. So me and my helper, we actually stock the car, filled it up. Like we have to go on 14 trips and give it to the Salvation, things that we thought we need, but we actually don't. I stopped that and 14 trips of like car pack of things to the Salvation Army. And when I look back, I say, my gosh, over all this year, we have to move around all this clutter and thinking we need them, but actually when we don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the
Yeah, here.
charity shop is so happy.
Oh,
They are so
sure, right?
happy.
All of those resources now made available. That's great. Yeah, I mean, here in the U.S., you may already know that folks here have a habit of not only filling their homes, but they'll actually have stuff they don't need right now, and they'll put them in a storage, right? So,
Oh my
and then if they
God.
move, they have to empty that, put it in a truck, empty their house, move all that to another house and another storage, right?
It's,
And of course, it's great for the storage companies because they make a lot of money just watching over your stuff. But
oh
the
man, I
stuff
know.
is just like
How
dead
did
weight.
we get here? My goodness.
Yeah,
Seriously, how did we get here that we keep thinking all these physical items are things that we need? But then when come to a time where you have to let go, then you realize, no, these are things that you don't. But
exactly.
yet you fill them up with your space and thinking you need them.
I
Well,
think it's the thought in the back of your mind that item was of value when we bought it, right? We needed it at the time,
yeah.
and we don't want to let go of it for free. But then we don't think of the cost of what it costs, both in our mind as well as in our life, of keeping it and moving it, all the physical energy required, right, and maintaining it or tripping over it, right, or
Yeah, true.
whatever it is, right?
I have wardrobe and cabinets that's overfull all the time in Singapore, and because I stay in a quite a big house, a 6,300 square feet house, and all the wardrobe is full with stuff.
Yeah,
It's like, but when we move, literally all, because we can't bring them with us, and literally we give them all to Salvation Army. So can you tell? Every single item is something that you don't need. Of course, something sentimental you may want to keep them, and that is the one that we actually stock them. But we have like 48 pots and pans. I don't even know how they people cook with 48 pots and pans, but that's what we have. And literally,
yeah,
I give every single one to the. And today in my house, I probably have probably about five pots and pans, and I really work around that, and that's why I did. And
right,
I always tell my husband, if you're gonna buy one, you have to get rid of the other one, so that we don't fall back
absolutely.
into the same trip again. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And you also, we were discussing before the show that you have also decluttered somewhat electronically, right? As far as I think you called it electronic detox.
Oh yes. So, but I have to tell you a story. So recently, we had conversations with my children. It was just during the dinner time. We had a conversation with my two teenagers. So my husband jokingly was telling them that he's going to install the TikTok app on his phone, and he's going to do some funny video like what the other TikToker are doing and post it on the TikTok. And lo and behold, we did not expect such a. My two teenagers literally screamed, and they were like protesting and begging the father not to do it. I
Really?
was shocked, and I was looking. To me, I have never expected such response from the children, and I was looking at it and realized that, wow, I need to understand what is going on. So we have a conversation. We calm them down, and we have a conversation, and then I realized today teenager have such a social pressure on from social media that maybe our generation will never be able to understand.
I
So
see.
as parents, I earnestly wanted to understand why such a reaction from them. Okay. So these two teenagers I thought they were perfectly happy and calm, and because I heard of so many cases of my friends' children who have really been bullied on internet and stuff like that. So I thought, when every time I monitor my two, they don't post anything on TikTok, but they go on it and see what other people are doing, because I emphasize that they do not do it. And when even my two normal teenager, which I thought they are normal, reacting in this way, so assume other kids out the world, they are the kind of pressure they are feeling right now. So as an adult or even as a business person, right, I somehow get a glimpse of where the pressure came from. Because as a business person, social media in this era is so good for us because we use it for, to market, to publicize, for exposure, for awareness, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's
But
outreach for us. It's networking and a greater sphere of contact, right?
it's a tool for us. It's so good because before internet, what do we do? Probably
Exactly. Yeah.
flyers
Get on
and
the phone, right? About it.
yeah.
Write letters.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, I have seen so many of my friends having to post on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and they have to do it like religiously and they have to post it everywhere just because they think they have to. It's such a pressure that
I,
if you're not there, you think people will not see you, people will forget you. You'll be redundant, you'll be like sayonara, that's it, you'll be gone, right?
yeah, no, I understand, and that's an important point, right? Is that it is an opportunity, but from that point of view, it's also a responsibility, right? To show up the right way, and then folks talk about posting every day, and I've even had folks from our generation talk about, well, you gotta, if you want to grow your business on Facebook, you have to post a minimum of 3 times a week, and so it creates a whole another clutter, if you will, in your schedule to
Exactly.
feed
Do
this
we
feed this like white elephant almost, right?
how good that exactly your point, you got it exactly. Do we really have to be shown everywhere? Do we really have to post constantly? That is exactly what it means. If you are in a business, if you do the right branding, you be all right instead of, because I think more people are doing it more like they're feeling the pressure that they have to do it because everyone is doing it. If you're
Right.
not seen, you'll be forgotten. But
Yeah.
I don't think that is the way.
Yeah.
Doing the right branding for your business is where you will be here today and you will still be here tomorrow. That is what is
Absolutely.
important for business because that is what we're using the social media is for. Instead of visiting a food store and you have to post the noodle that you're eating, I think
Oh,
it
right.
becomes
Yeah.
overwhelming. Yeah.
Completely agree. Yeah. There's no need for our lives to become that public as if we're like royal or like social media royalty, right? Where every restaurant we visit, oh yeah, we're in a really cool place now. Check this out. You do the live video and everything. But I
Yeah.
mean, if you have something to share, then lives like this, for example, lives like this, I think are very important.
Yeah.
Or do you have a live stream or a podcast of your own?
No, I stay out for now.
Ah,
I'm
for now.
like my plate is so full. I have quite a lot of projects going on. So
Yeah.
again, coming back because of my children reaction, I know that the whole family need to come together to do a detox. Like I told you, I'm not an expert, but I'm going through this journey, and it's so real for us now. And when
Yeah.
I look at it, I say it's not just the kids that we need to get the value right. It's also us. So from there, I actually set a boundary now because we used to bring, like dinner time, we say, oh, let's have TV dinner, and everyone will bring their food in front of the TV. And I realized it's not just us, it's so common nowadays that people rather not communicate, but it's so easy, right, to just watch the TV and have the dinner. But that is something missing. Everyone forgotten the value of coming together as a family, during the dinner time or meal time, to communicate, to catch up with one another. That is so important. So that is where I set the boundary now. There is no electronic zone in the house. Bedroom is one of them. So dining area is one of them. So this is one of the way my family detox now. So creating zone that have no electronics so that we communicate, so that we can connect, so that we bring back the family values of togetherness, and is even we don't tolerate each other, even sometimes they argue, but I think I'd rather have that so that it's real, so that they know the computer, whatever out there is not real, but the family is the real thing. That is what I'm emphasizing. Yeah.
And that
So
is,
as
I
a
really like, yeah, please go ahead.
yeah. So as a person, like every day when I think you and me the same, we work a lot on the computer, right?
Yeah.
But I bet you probably open 20 tabs while you just do a job.
Yes, that's true. Until my computer slows down so much that I can't function, right? Yeah,
Isn't that true? So that is
absolutely.
what happened to us as well all the time. And all this, imagine your mind is looking at all this all the time. There was a time when I turned on my computer. I can't even see my, the wall. the wallpaper because I have so many apps on the screen.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
imagine this is what you look at every day when you turn on the computer, and that kind of clutter, not just physical clutter around, but look at that every day. If that is what you look at, imagine how you start your day with so much thing in your mind. So this is also one of the area I emphasize, because what you look at is also emphasizing your outside reflect your inside. Okay,
Yeah,
the same thing. So decluttering apps on your computer is one of the topics I talk about in the book itself. Okay, like clearing your apps on cleaning your screen is one of the remember and set the intention of what will greet you when you turn on your computer. If this is the tool that you're going to work on, then clear your computer. So every day what it greet you is probably a very nice wall art, or some motivational text that will greet you. And that is how you want to start your day. Set intentions to start your day with the with the right path. And so this is one of the topics that I talk about where in the book, about clearing the apps or focus. As a business person, instead of doing so many things, if we could just focus on the very things that we are doing, we can be more productive than just doing so many things. So like I have the intentions to do my book, right? So every day in the morning, before even I start anything, I do not turn on my phone. Because I do use the computer to do writing, typing of my books. The very morning when I always set the intention to write my book first. So I won't turn on my phone. I won't turn on any other apps. But what I do is just focus on writing. So that 1 hour becomes so productive. That is why I managed to get 2 books out within like 30 days. I mean, it's insane, but
yeah, yeah.
because I managed to set the time. So as a
Right.
business person, it's the same thing. If you have a goal, focus on that very goal and shut out the rest of the noise. Even social media, you set the goal and you just focus on just doing that, and you'll be more productive than any other time. Like now, if you look at it, there's many people doing funnels, right? Sales funnel everywhere, and
Yep.
I know everyone want a piece of it. But there is so many noise out there. I tell you, I have so many friends who sign up for the book, for all these click funnels and group. But in the end, they sat on it for like 6 months, 7 months, and they did not do anything because the information become too overwhelmed.
Absolutely. I've been there. Yeah. It's so easy to buy the tools, right? I mean, the pitch is really good, right? They say, oh, we're going to give you, and actually, if you pay us just a little bit more, we're going to give you so much information you can't possibly take it all in. That's exactly what happens. You're like, oh, yeah, of course, give me
Keep
all that.
coming.
Right? And then you end up doing nothing because, like you say, it creates a different kind of clutter that
Yes.
that suddenly it overwhelms your mind, and then you lose your you lose your place, you lose your inner
That's
peace.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. We are like information overload now. And seriously, I paid for that program and I paid like 4 figures. I literally sat on the program for 6, 7 months and I did not do anything because I have too much information and I do not know what to do. And so
Right.
now I strip everything back again. I said, I'm going to start from the beginning. That is how it is. And that I can see progress now when I start from the beginning instead of taking so many things. Now I'm just doing one thing, finish that task, and then move on to the next one. So as a
That's
business
awesome.
person, probably that is one of the tips to be more productive is to be focused instead of be everywhere at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good advice for me as well. And I'm getting there, right? But it's so tempting to take on multiple projects and think that perhaps it will all come together in the end. But a lot of times it's a dilution of focus, right? So much that it's unless you're very good at switching, it's difficult to not think about one while you're working on the other. So I completely agree with you. It's better to just pick one and
Yes.
stay on that one for long enough to make progress. And then if you want to go back to the other one, okay. But and then you can book the progress and keep moving forward. Now, you mentioned going through this process of simplification, both digitally, online social media, as well as the electronics in your home, and also on your business process. At what point did you reach the epiphany that is the system that you work with authors now, right, that you find so effective?
Okay. So uh, the book collaboration is one of the project that I'm doing, but I also do self-publishing, and then helping other author to do when they do the solo book at the same time. But I keep emphasizing again and again that if instead of if you want to be really productive, sometimes instead of you working alone, if you could come together and work as a group, because like I mentioned, if there's so many things you need to do, why don't you tap on the resources of others, share resources, share finance, share, you know, in fact, when you come together, you're so inspired at the same time. So the fastest way to get something done is also to share resources. That's why I always emphasize on collaboration. So that is one of the way to that. And but partly as a business person, I always and throughout this path, I realized if you able to simplify your life, in fact, you can see productivity higher than, because that is what I do as well. Now, literally cutting down on social media. I only need to go on it when I have to, and cutting down on social media, giving me more time to really focus on the task that is more important to me. So that is how I see productivity go above. That's why I'm able to produce book within 90 days, where people sometimes have to wait a lifetime to get a books out. But when I'm literally doing a book, I'm really focused within that 3 months. I really focus on just doing that book and nothing else. And so imagine I produce a book. People probably they have a lot of tasks, but again, they probably do just 10% of the fulfillment. But in the end, they fulfill nothing. But if I concentrate 100% on just fulfilling a book, and that is where I get, and so that is I emphasizing on simplifying everything, and then come back to, just focusing on what you need to do. So that is an interesting quote that I came across, right? I want to read to you because it's
Please.
by Nikola Tesla.
Yeah. Oh, Tesla.
Okay.
Outstanding.
Yeah. When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole earth will be converted into a huge brain, which in fact it is all thing being particle of a real and rhythmic host. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespect of distance. Not only this, but through television and telephony, we shall see and hear one another perfectly, as though we were face to face, despite intervening distance of thousands of miles. And the instrument through which we shall be able to do this will be amazingly simple compared with our present telephone. A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket. And this quote is by Nikola Tesla in 1962, which is 58 years ago.
Oh, yeah. That's before Al Gore invented the internet, as they say.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just
look at it. Although he did not, he made this statement to a group of students, okay? He was spot on. The only thing he never mentioned that the device that he mentioned is smartphone,
That's crazy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about vision, right?
Yeah, that's right. So smartphone is something that is so valuable to us nowadays, because
Right.
literally when I was a mom, I can function on phone while I'm still picking up my kids.
Yep.
So using this electronic device, what do I say, smart, be smart with your smart device, because and also responsibly can actually help you to achieve your goal faster, instead of, because nowadays people spend more time on the electronic device. I think they spend more time on their phone than with their family.
Oh, 100%.
Because even when they're,
Even as
yeah,
you're sitting
with
there with
their
your
family, they're
family,
staring
usually
in the
you're
phone.
looking at your
Yeah.
phone, right? And you're not really interacting. Yeah.
But looking at this, how much have this device control our life?
The
That is
potential
something.
is extremely strong. Yeah, I'm actually quite worried about that. Not that I
That is
worry as
something.
a matter of course,
Yeah.
but if you think of the potential for messaging to get through to millions of people instantly, because they're carrying this phone and because they're waiting for a message to notify them on Facebook or on their other social media, or even
Yes.
on broadcasts, folks are waiting for those inputs. And so it's slightly dangerous, right? If you don't have the ability to unplug and maintain your own inner peace in your own life, in your own home, like you're speaking.
That is so true, right? How
Yeah.
much you're being controlled by this, instead of you control the device, now the device control most of us, because unconsciously, if you have your device in the bedroom, because one of the emphasis I always say, don't bring your phone to the bedroom, because if you have your phone in the bedroom, guess what happened in the morning? The
First
first thing is
thing,
to
you'll turn
wake
it
up.
on, or it'll wake you up, right?
Exactly.
With a message or
And people
a
will say, I
trigger
use it
thing.
as an alarm clock, but why can't you
Yeah,
just buy an alarm clock? That is the function of the alarm clock.
for sure.
Most of us bring the phone to the bedside, which a lot of people think is okay. But guess what? The first thing you reach out is your phone, and
Yeah,
you turn on your phone and you let it dictate your whole morning or your whole day now. And that
yeah.
is, yeah,
Exactly.
it's
The data collection aspect
unconsciously.
is another scary version of that, and I think that that will also impact our subconscious to some extent, knowing
Exactly.
that there's a very large computer out there that's collecting pretty much everything. That's
But
I mean, it's,
imagine you turn on your phone and you receive a bad message, or someone complain about something, a
yeah,
vendor or a supply, and guess what? The whole day will be ruined.
absolutely.
Because so that's how we set our intention. If you set your intention right in the morning, instead of letting your phone decide you, do a meditations or set your intentions or read a book before you get out of your bed. That is something that you will determine how your whole day will run, because that way you set your intention right. So I used to do morning meditations by Abraham Hicks. So it's like really start my morning right, and then before I start anything. So instead of letting everything crowded my mind, at least I know this is going to be a good day. That is how I want to set my intentions every morning. So it's just the audience may want to be to consider. Do not try not to bring your phone or put it beside your bedside, so that in the morning you are the one to be the master of the day, instead of letting a device determine that. And the whole family life, a lot of time, of course we use it to communicate with our kids and things like this. But if try possible, know that, do instead of doing things on the phone, try to do things on the computer, because you can't bring the computer everywhere. And so
Right.
it's how I, if I'm gonna write a book, I write it on instead of my phone, because otherwise I'll be all day on my phone. And but unconsciously we thought it's okay. And then our kids are looking at us, and we imagine we tell them, put down your phone, and but we are the one that's having
Exactly.
the phone all the time. So
Yeah.
again, living it consciously is something that I urge the reader or the audience to think about, how we use all this. It's supposed to be a device that's supposed to be improve our life, but now instead of dominating us. So it's something that maybe consciously we want to think again how we want to live our life with purpose, instead of letting an electronic device determine how we live.
You made a very powerful comment earlier, and that is that by starting with a morning meditation, you can create mastery over your day, right? But
Yes.
the way I see it is that we're a master of our day no matter what, right? So by choosing upfront, okay, I'm going to start with Abraham Hicks meditation, right? You're creating, either way, you're creating your reality for that day, right? You've chosen to create it with that. Others choose to create it with whatever came through their Facebook feed overnight, or
Yeah.
their TikTok, or whatever the new system's going to be in the
You're
future,
so right. Yes, that's
right?
right.
So
You're so
it's
right.
still our mastery, right? But I think the important takeaway is that that's our choice, and if we make that choice the day before, well, that's good. That will change our day, and changing of one day, well, 1,000 days from then, change our
Yeah,
future.
that's
So
true.
good.
That's true. What
I
a
wanted to
great
ask you,
conversations. I learned so much from you today.
yeah, that's awesome. One additional question I wanted to ask is that I wonder if we could just talk about the scenario of an author that is having difficulty writing their book, right? They're overwhelmed and they have a topic they really believe strongly in, but they don't know where to turn, and they don't even know what they don't know, right? They're just saying, well, I've had this idea, I've had it for a year, I've had it for a year and a half,
Yeah.
and I can't get it off the ground. What would you recommend for that author out there that would like to get moving as fast as what you've been able to move on a new project like that?
Do you know there's, if you were to look out, there's so many authors that how come they can churn out books so fast, right?
Yeah.
Do you know in our industry there is a trick? we have a framework. We have a framework that you can follow, that literally you can fill up your books so fast, because it's like getting out the outline. But we have a framework. But if I'll be so glad to give it to your audience if they're interested to know about the framework. Why don't they send me an email,
Okay.
or yeah, I will send the framework to them, so that if anyone is interested to write the book fast, you can just follow the framework and you can get your, because in fact, don't forget, people think that, oh, I don't have a good story to tell. a lot of people say, I think people are not interested in my story. Most of the author that I know, right? They like, I don't think people are interested in my story. My story probably not interesting enough to be publicized, or it's not good enough. I'm not ready. They have all kind of reason to stop them. But do you know your story? If you could tell that story and you could change just one person's life, your story is powerful enough to be out there.
Absolutely, completely
Yeah.
agree with that. Right,
And
and
most of the time,
imagine the
they
feedback,
have
right?
all the information in there, right? Most of the time, their life, the information is in there. It's only now to put them into words. That is the easy part, because the framework will help them to fill up their content easily. Okay, that is what I'm telling. So those authors that work with me, like for those collaborate author, the first time they said, "Wow, to write a 2,000 words is difficult."
Yeah,
Imagine to 20,000 words is even worse. But when they start that journey and when they start using that framework and they start pouring out, I tell you, they realize they are unstoppable. It's just
oh,
amazing.
powerful. Yeah, yeah, and
Because
just with a structure to work from. Yeah, that's huge.
yes, with the structure. But the moment they step out to tell the story, they realize that they can do it.
Yeah,
And I tell you, 30 to 40% of the co-author that came together with me, they start their own book. One
awesome.
of them, he was a both leg amputee, but he started his book and it's so nice to read his book. It's just amazing. But before that, imagine he has such a big story and he just could not tell it. But when he started the 2,000 words book, it gave him so much energy and inspiration, and he actually publicized a book now. And it's called Legless to Legless Qua himself. It's just amazing story, but it's also so fun to read about his life as well. So it's something that, so start somewhere, start the intention as well, start somewhere. The writing part is the easy part, because you just need to follow a framework and you're out there. And once you start writing, and you are unstoppable.
That's right, and it's so huge and so empowering for those out there who may have thought to write a book and just couldn't figure out how to begin. Right, so I
Yes.
wanted to read out your email address for those that will be listening on audio, and the email address is contact@twisbpublishing.com. Again, that's contact, one word, at twisbpublishing.com. And Chrissy, I think you said TWISB actually stands for the world is so big.
Yes. The world is so big. So we are just one book away, or we are just one phone call away, connect with each other. So the world is big, but it's not. It's just one phone call away or one books away.
That's totally awesome. Yeah, definitely. So the world is so big, but we're only one project away, one book, one
Yes.
action away from moving forward and becoming completely unstoppable. And I
Yes.
wanted to also leave your website address here, Chrissy Tasker. That's ChrissysTasker.com,
Yes.
to get more information about you and your work. And maybe we'll close on that. Can you tell us a bit just about the book that you're about ready to publish?
Yeah, the book title is called Stillness in My Soul, A Movement to Simplify Your Life. So if anyone is interested to read the advanced reading copy, do send me an email. I can send, yeah, so you can have an advanced reading copy before the book is published.
Oh, excellent. I think several out there would look forward to that. That's awesome, and a nice gift from you. We really appreciate that. And Chrissy, you've shared so much with us today. I really appreciate your time and joining us here at the Center.
Totally enjoyed the interview today. Thank you so much for having me, DK. Thank you.
Thanks. Looking forward to continuing to collaborate in the future and perhaps a return at some point back to
Thank
the
you,
Center.
everyone. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
And for the Center of Calmness, I'm DK Warner.